So let's talk about exactly what happy years are. In a sales context, happy years occurs when us as salespeople hear the things that we want to hear and not what clients are actually saying. As an example, quite a few years ago, I recall when this became relevant for me, I realised that when I was asking clients about budget and money, what's the budget, what budget do they have in place, do they have the money for the proposal or for the program we're running? And they would turn around and say things like, "Oh, John, don't worry, we'll find the money." Or worse, they'd say, "Look, we don't have it in budget, but we need to move some things around." Now, what they're really saying is that they don't have the money right now, or it doesn't feel as important to them as what you think it is. What I was hearing in those stages was, "We've got the money, we're ready to go ahead," and that's not what the client was saying. So happy is when we hear the things that we want to hear because we've got this great optimistic streak in us that, of course, people will want to buy from us. The ways to get around these things is to drill down and be more thorough with your qualifying process. So rather than asking, or when you're asking about the money situation in terms of do they have the budget, and if they say that they need to find the money, you probably need to go back to the value comparison to make sure that they feel that your proposal or your solution is actually meeting their requirements and is saving the money, and it's a compelling reason to go ahead. Another thing with that is that maybe we're not actually in front of the decision maker who has a very compelling reason to solve this problem. And if they can understand that the solution you've got, which might cost $50,000 just to resolve, is going to save them $200,000, it's a no-brainer for them to go ahead. So we don't want to have our happy years switched on where we're actually hearing what we want to hear. A second example, and often it happens, is people often say to us that they have heard things like, I am the decision maker. Now, unfortunately, sometimes people say they are, but they're not. And we found that a really good thing to do there is to, again, switch off your happy years and qualify them a bit deeper by asking who else might be involved in the project, or who else might the project affect. And that will help you to find out who else you need to be meeting with. You could also ask, do you mind me asking, what's the actual decision process? What's the process in terms of you finalising and signing on the dotted line? And that will help you to work out who you have to engage throughout the process, and then the person doesn't, the person you're speaking to doesn't need to feel that they're display that they are the person you need to speak to, when really that they're not. So in a nutshell, happy years is when we as salespeople hear the things that we want to hear and not what the clients are actually saying. The best way around this is to qualify deeper and chunk down to find out exactly what the client is saying, so that you're not making pretty massive assumptions and assuming the deal's going to go ahead.